We're going to have a look at these 8 tools and figure out which one is the best tool in the entire world for cutting carpet. Now, I was practicing with these in the room next door, and I gotta say, the one that I ended up liking the best really surprised the heck out of me. To figure out the best one, we are going to do a test. I'm going to make 4 5-foot cuts with each of the tools. First up, the Olfa utility knife. You can see it takes a couple hacks to get the cut started. We're going to do 2 cuts through the carpet and the underlay, and then we'll pull up the material and do 2 cuts just through the carpet. You can see with both the layers, you do have to press pretty hard on the knife to make the cut. And then when we move over to just cutting through the carpet, it cuts through no problem. Next tool is the heavy duty shears. It didn't take long to realize that this is not going to be able to cut through the carpet and the underlay, so I abandoned those 2 cuts and moved over to just the carpet. This definitely cut the carpet, but it was painfully slow. It did a nice clean job, but it took forever. I almost gave up, but I finished the 2 cuts off. Next man up is the serrated utility knife. Ooh, this thing is giving me some real soft butter vibes. It reminds me a lot of when you're trying to cut a tomato in the kitchen with a dull knife, and then you reach for that serrated bread knife and slice. We'll see how the blade stands up after the 4 cuts. Next we have Captain Hook. Now, I don't know what it would be like to hack apart a deer with a spoon, but I'm imagining it would kind of be like this. This tool is not really working well. A lot of hacking, a lot of soul searching. This was tough work to make the 4 cuts. I almost gave up, but I'm not a quitter. Well, except for that time when I quit on the shears. Break out the big guns. The multi-tool with the hook blade. I've heard great things about this setup. Holy mozzarella meatballs. This thing is not working at all. It is not vibing with this Berber carpet. Hard to get the cut started. Once you get rolling, it's snagging into more fibers. It's hard to believe, but this might even be worse than the hook blade. Next up, the Pro Carpet Knife. Yo, this is a serious tool. One-handed, cutting through both layers, no problem. When it comes to cutting the single layer, it is slicing and dicing. I can see why this is the knife choice for most professional carpet installers. Utility knife with a hook blade. There is a new leader in the clubhouse for the worst tool for cutting carpet, and it is the utility knife with the hook blade. Not good at all. And finally, we have the circular saw. I am ready to break the internet with this clever hack that nobody has ever thought of before. Well, that was interesting. As it turns out, the circular saw is one of the worst ideas I've ever had. It did a horrible job cutting the carpet. Next up, the shears. They were not the right tool for this job. You could not really cut through the carpet and the underlay at the same time. They did a nice job cutting the carpet, but they were painfully slow. Maybe even worse than the shears, hard to say, was this hook blade. This hook blade just really did not do a good job with this Berber carpet. This carpet is difficult to cut. It's got all kinds of thick strands, and this did not cut through it well. Also, for disappointment, this hook blade thing, this is more of a linoleum knife. This thing was a struggle. I almost gave up. I did manage to hack through the carpet, but this is not the right tool for the job. And then probably the biggest disappointment here, I had high hopes for the multi-tool with this hook blade. It could not it was just, this thing, forget it. That leaves 3 knives here, and now the Olfa utility knife, the knife that I've always used, this did a good job. It was cutting. You need quite a bit of force on there. You can see that the blade is a little more delicate than the other blades here, and it's worn down a little bit from cutting into the floor. And yeah, this did a good job. If this is all you have, you can definitely get the job done. That leaves 2 knives here. Now there's a little bit of nuance here. This is a Pro carpet knife. This is what you will see the pros using. It has a curved, thick, heavy-duty razor knife on there. This thing cut beautifully. It makes really nice cuts. You can definitely one-hand the cuts, and you can see it stood up incredibly well. There's no damage on the blade. If you're doing any kind of carpet seaming, this is what you want to use. This is a great knife. And then the surprising winner here, I didn't have high hopes, was the serrated utility blade. This thing just cut amazing. It was easy to start the cuts. You could cut with just one hand pressure. This blade was awesome. I will link these blades in the description. You can get them off Amazon. You can also find them at some stores, but not all stores. You can put these blades into any utility knife. And hey, if you're going to be doing any carpet removal at all in your future, you've got to check this out. There's a couple unbelievable tips on how to remove the tack strip around the perimeter and how to get those annoying underlay staples out without having to get down on your hands and knees. You can check out those tips right over here. Oh man, I don't even know how old I would have been, like 9 years old. My dad gave me a utility knife. He's like, hold on, the blade's dull. He put a fresh blade in there and then stitches. 1, 2, 3 stitches. Yeah. So be careful anytime you're going to use one of these sharp knives.